This is the Lockpicking Lawyer, and what I have for you today is the Pro-Lok Gunlok. This is an interesting trigger lock with a couple of unique and innovative features. So what I'm going to do is take you through what those features are, and then we will put it on this firearm and see just how secure it is. Pro-Lok advertises that this offers 3 levels of security in one lock. So let me take you through what those levels are. The first is what they call instant access. And with instant access, you actually leave the core in the unlocked position and rely on the fact that you need to press the buttons on this lock in a special sequence to open it up. Now there's 3 buttons, 2 of which are obvious. There's the one on the bottom and top, but the third is not so obvious. In fact, I didn't know where it was until I read the directions, and that is the face of the core. So to open this up, you press the top button and then press the core in, after which it comes apart easily. Now the third button, the one on the bottom, is what the directions call a decoy button, but it actually does more than that. If you press this button down, while you're holding it down, it's impossible to push this core in. Unfortunately, the sequence of buttons that you need to press is the exact same for every single gun lock sold, and it takes about 30 seconds on the internet to find out what that sequence is. So when Gunlok says right on their packaging, never leave gun unattended in this level, they're words you should take to heart. The next level of security is key locking, and here it's the exact same as the first level of security, but you move the core to the locked position. So to unlock this, what you would have to do is move the core to the open position and then press the sequence of buttons to open it up. The final level of security involves taking the supplied cable and threading it through the action and into the trigger lock before you secure it to the gun. Now, Pro-Lok does say that the cable will not work on some firearms. And I actually tried it on quite a few guns, and it didn't work on about 40% of them, but not for the reason I expected it not to work. I actually chose one of the guns on which it did not work to demonstrate this lock, so you could see why it might be an issue. The final feature I wanted to talk about are the custom fit pins that are included with the lock. One side of this lock is actually a bit of a pegboard into which these little rubber-coated metal pins can be inserted. And what they do is allow you to configure this lock such that it will fit perfectly onto your firearm with a minimal amount of wiggle. It's a really nice feature, and these pins are very, very tight into those holes, so you don't have to worry about them falling out. Okay, now that we went through all of that, let's take this lock, put it on the gun, and see what it takes to open it up. I already have the pins arranged for this particular gun. You can see it fits on there pretty nicely. Next, we're going to take this cable and thread it through the action. And once it's through the action, you can take one end, place it through the pin without the rubber on it, and the same for the other end. After which, you put the other side of the trigger lock on and squeeze it as tight as you can so the ratchets engage. Finally, we take the key and lock it up. Now, I mentioned that this cable does not work on all firearms, and here is why. The issue is that a lot of firearms have irregularly shaped trigger guards that don't allow the clamshell to close all the way. And that's the case on an awful lot of modern firearms, and when they can't close all the way, you're left with a situation in which you can just lift the cable off of the pin quite easily without opening the trigger lock first. Now we deal with the lock itself, and the core that they used in here is a wafer core. They tend to be very, very easy to open. Interestingly enough, Pro-Lok does say that this lock was tested for pick and manipulation resistance. And frankly, I'm not sure what the results of that test were, but these wafer locks tend to be at the bottom end of the spectrum for security. So let's see what it takes to open this up. I'm going to put a tension wrench in here, and then a little rake, and can see, it took just a moment of a relatively unskilled attack to open this up. So the pick resistance of this lock is very, very low. And despite all of these innovative features that it have, a lot of which I really like, I could never recommend this lock because the pick resistance is laughably bad. So that's all I have for you on this Pro-Lok Gunlok. If you do have any questions or comments about it, please put them below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Thank you.